Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Santa Smackdown 2018. We've got our first game of the pool play, where we're going to be taking on that dude, LPL. So he's got a pretty scary squad. As you can see on screen, he's got Scizor, which is always a threat. Garchomp is a huge threat, especially with Z moves. Incineroar is also a huge threat and has the Intimidate ability, which is really nice. My opponent also has Magic Bounce with the Espeon, which is super cool. And then, I guess I should quit saying super cool when it's my opponent that's actually packing it and not me. But nah, for real. The Mimikyu has the ability to disguise, so that can be a problem. And the Mudspray could be problematic as well. My opponent does not bring the Mega Manectric or the Klefki. So I actually brought a max HP, very Spadef Mega Charizard X to combat his Mega Manectric, because otherwise I don't have a switch in. Gliscor is 2-hit KO'd by Hidden Power Ice, and yeah, that would be really problematic. Luckily, he didn't bring it. And he didn't bring the Klefki either, so no like hazard stack options there. He does have potential Stealth Rocks, but I have Stealth Rocks too and Defog. I am obviously more pressure to Defog than he is because I have Charizard, whereas Incineroar isn't that big of an issue with rocks. Anyways, so he's got Z-Chomp, which is a huge threat. We've got a Clefable here that should be able to take it on as long as it's not like a Banded Ironhead or Corkscrew Crash, which could be problematic. Well, we'll talk about our team from left to right instead of just jumping right into it. So we've got a Mega Charizard X here. Like I mentioned, very bulky, Spadef. We've got Toxic, Fire Spin, Roost, and Dragon Claw. And that sounds weird, Fire Spin and Dragon Claw. Why would you have both? Well, when we get into the rest of my team, you'll see that Dragon Claw is actually really nice against my opponent. And he only has Mimikyu, which looks like it can be beat down fairly easily with my squad. And then it doesn't appreciate Toxic or Fire Spin anyway. Anyways, Dragon Claw, once Mimikyu's gone, is very spammable. But before that, so he's got Incineroar and Mudsdale, which can both switch in on Charizard. Mudspray gets a defense boost every time I hit it, and Incineroar has the Intimidate ability and can be EV'd to combat a Charizard. So that's problematic. So I decided to run a bulkier Charizard, not really a sweeper variant, unless some certain scenarios are hit. Anyways, yeah, we got the Fire Spin Toxic set. I'm pretty excited about that. It could be pretty annoying for my opponent to deal with. And then we've got Clefable here, which, like I mentioned, is basically a Garchomp check, as long as it's not like a Adamant Life Orb or Choice Banded, Jolly Choice Band, or Corkscrew Crash. We should be able to handle it decently well. Or if it catches us with an Earthquake upon switch in and then into Tectonic Rage, could be problematic. We have the Moonblast there for Garchomp, obviously, and nice stab versus everything else. We've got Flamethrower for the Scizor, and then we've got Wish Protect. Pretty self-explanatory, if I do say so myself. Next up, we've got Wayne, which is our Gliscor, which is a Max Spadef variant to better take on the Mega Manectric that he did not bring. It also helps us take on mons such as Espeon and Klefki. I guess a little bit more defense in this matchup would have been great. So we've got the Toxic Orb and the Poison Heal, but we've got a pretty fire set here. So he had no, outside of Klefki using Magnet Rods, he has no ground resist, and he has Incineroar and Mega Manectric that would have been weak to Earthquake. And we've got the Agility, which is really nice. So we can Agility up and then spam Earthquake, and we've also got Swords Dance. Now, I actually bypassed on Roost, which would have been awesome in the matchup that he actually brings, and I decided to bring Baton Pass, so I can Baton Pass a Swords Dance into Charizard or Mienshao or Decidueye. I can Baton Pass an Agility out into Decidueye or Charizard or something like that, or a Swords Dance and a Baton Pass, but that's a little bit less likely. It's actually improbable. But yeah, it's a pretty cool set, and hopefully it can put in some work. We've got a Empoleon with the Shukaberry because he has Mudsbury and Garchomp. We want to be able to bop those with the Scald and the Ice Beam respectively. And then we've got Stealth Rock and Defog, basically our hazard control for the matchup. And very, very Spadef to take on, to be able to tank a Thunderbolt from full from Mega Manectric. Anyways, and it would put us in tournament range in which our Scald would knock out a Mega Manectric after Stealth Rocks, which is really nice. Anyways, we've got a Choice Scarf Mienshao with the U-turn, high jump kick, and knockoff. And we've got Toxic on here. The reason being is because I felt like, unless I'm Choice Band or Life Orb, I'm not going to be able to 2-hit KO the Mudsbury after it gets the defense boost, the stamina boost. So being able to catch it with a Toxic upon switch in would be really nice. I'd knock out Espeon upon switch in with U-turn or knockoff, and then the rest of his team is not really going to appreciate high jump kick outside of Mienshao. I didn't know if he would actually bring Mimikyu, but he does bring Mimikyu, so I can't just spam high jump kick because he does have the ghost type. But luckily for us, we do have Decidueye, which could potentially get rid of Mimikyu, or at least break its disguise for us. We have a Choice Banded variant here, Adamant Max Attack with U-turn, Spirit Shackle, Leaf Blade, and Shadow Sneak for priority. Can come in clutch. This thing is a really solid mon. Like, it's not, I guess he does have Scizor and Incineroar, so it's kind of like, why would you bring a Choice Band Decidueye? Well, predicting the Scizor or the Incineroar to come in on my Decidueye, I can get a Choice Banded U-turn off into my Mega Charizard X or my Gliscor or my Mienshao, depending on what he goes into, and then I can fire off, more attacks or U-turn out into Charizard again, something like that. But yeah, that's going to be the squad, and we can hop into the replay now and talk about it. At Team Preview, I noticed he had 2 potential Stealth Rockers and the Magic Bounce user, as well as having Scizor as a potential Defog user himself. I doubt he would bring a Defogger, though. Based on the squad, he brought 2 ground types and a Magic Bounce user, so I doubt he brought Defog. So we're going to lead off here. He's going to lead off with his Garchomp. We're going to lead off with the Decidueye. The reason being for our Decidueye lead is because Mudsbury was more than likely going to be his rocker for the matchup, and I figured he might lead with it to try to get rocks up ASAP. But I guess the same could be said, like, maybe he didn't want to lead with Mudsbury because I could have led with my Empoleon. Had I led with Empoleon, though, that would have been really, really nice because I could just click Ice Beam here. So what I can do here is just hard switch out into my Clefable as he sets up Stealth Rock. So that was actually his rocker. Turns out that was actually his rocker. So we're going to throw off a Flamethrower, expecting his Scizor to come in on the Moonblast as he goes into his Mudsbury. And we're going to throw off a Wish as he reveals Heavy Slam and does a fuck ton to us. But we're going to be able to get her Protect off here and get her Wish back. And he reveals the Rock Tomb. So now we're going to have to play a little bit of mind games here. We're going to go out to our Gliscor as he could go for the Heavy Slam again. Does 28%. Our Toxic Orb is going to activate, and we're going to be able to click Swords Dance here. I was going to try to break the Mudsdale down, but he goes hard into his Espeon and reveals Hidden Power. But we can live that and able to knock him out with a +2 Earthquake. So down goes the Espeon. We take an early 6-5 lead, but Gliscor is almost fainted itself, so it's basically 5-5 at this point. I can't do much. He can outpace me here, and he actually doesn't go for the Bullet Punch and decides to Swords Dance up. I'm not sure why. It gives me almost 70% on his Scizor here, and then I can easily go into Charizard and tank this +2 Bullet Punch after Stealth Rocks and Roost up, and then he can BP again, and I can Roost up once again. But what I'm going to do here is he could have went into Mudsbury there. So I went for the Fire Spin. Actually catches Garchomp upon switch in, which is kind of funny. Had I went for Dragon Claw there, that would have been nice. It turns out Ginger was actually in the chat. What's up, Ginger? I didn't know you was in here. Let's go. I have to go back and read that when I can. I mute spectators during battles, league battles that is, or tournament battles. Anyways, I go into my Clefable here, and I'm going to be able to throw off another Wish. As he switches his Garchomp out, we're going to be able to protect up here as he brings in the Mudsberry and goes for the Heavy Slam. Get our Wish back, and now we can switch accordingly. I'm going to fire off a Wish. Had he went for Earthquake or something there, it would have been really nice. I could have passed the Wish into something else. But he goes for the Heavy Slam, and we're going to have to protect and catch our Wish ourselves. And now we're going to switch out to the Empoleon, predicting the Heavy Slam. But he actually goes for the Rock Tomb. And now, after my speed's been lowered, he's gonna outpace us, and we're gonna get a big Scald off though, which was nice. Not gonna be quite enough. We're gonna go out into Clefable here, as he actually predicts that and goes for the Heavy Slam. Like, I guess he was predicting Clefable to come out there. I don't see another reason to go for Heavy Slam, but he actually did it. He got us. So the match is not looking too good right now at this point. Garchomp's looking like a real threat. Mimikyu's disguise hasn't been broken. But Clefable, I'm not going to give up on you. So, I'm going to go out to the Decidueye here. It's the middle ground play on the Heavy Slam or the Earthquake. He's going to go out to the Garchomp and take a Choice Banded Leaf Blade. And, yeah, he's going to switch. He's going to double out into his Incineroar to get the Intimidate off, as we're going to sack off our Empoleon here. Go out into our Mienshao at this point. We can click High Jump Kick, we can click U-Turn. What we're going to click is Toxic. It catches the Mudsberry and the Mimikyu, so I thought that was the best play. It would have also caught Incineroar, which is really nice. And here we go out there, he roars us out. I think that was Roar. I don't think it was Dragon Tail. I think it was Roar. Roared us out into our Zard. And we're going to switch out to our Mienshao, predicting him to go for another Roar. Maybe predicting our Roost, but he actually clicks Earthquake, which is another fair play. But he knocks out our Mienshao, which is a little bit problematic. But I felt it was the least valuable on the squad because all it did was defeat Incineroar. That's literally all it could do at that point. Whereas Mimikyu stopped it from clicking High Jump Kick. Scizor has the Bullet Punch. Mudsdale has the Earthquake and the Stamina Boost. So I wasn't going to be able to use Mienshao at that point. To a higher degree of efficiency. I could have maybe sacked off the Decidueye and went something else, but I felt like, even though the Decidueye was really low, I felt like Mienshao was the better sack there. Anyways, it forces this situation, which is actually really problematic. He's going to reveal Bulk Up, but I'm able to get my Clef in without taking any damage, meaning at this point he's not going to be able to knock me out with any one move. And he's going to go for the Flame Charge, and I protect to get a little bit more health back, and going to go for the Wish here, as I do survive any one hit, unless he was like Life Orb or something. I thought he could maybe be a Z move as well. But it turns out there was only one Z move user on his squad, so I was a little bit timid here, but it wasn't too big of an issue. I'm an unaware variant, so I can maybe stall this thing out with a little bit of wishing and protecting and wishing and protecting and wishing and protecting. This actually goes on for quite a while. He goes for the Iron Head. He gets a few flinches when he needs them, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I am getting my Wish back. I am recovering more than he can possibly do. Unless he gets the flinch right there, Clefable should be able to beat this thing. Theoretically, with leftovers, he could 1v1 me as well. He could PP stall my entire moveset if he plays his Iron Heads right. And then from that point, he would be able to defeat my Decidueye and my Charizard. My Charizard wouldn't be able to do much except Toxicate, but at +2 speed, has the Earthquake as well. This is a really fire Incineroar set. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Didn't quite get the knockout there. I do have to protect and then wish up though. I can't afford to be weakened enough for Mudsdale or Mimikyu to come in and revenge kill me at this point. So I do have to get a little bit of my health back and then start to chip him down again. That's the idea here. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit as I'm able to throw off my wishes, avoid some flinches, get flinched at the right time though, but I do catch my wish at the perfect time as well, so kind of balances that out, which is really nice. And this is quite the process. The Iron Head, had he not had Iron Head, this wouldn't have been as problematic. But Iron Head makes things problematic, especially with the flinch, especially when the timing's perfectly. Especially when the timing's perfectly. But yeah, this goes on for quite a bit. Um, he keeps going for the Iron Head. He gets a flinch. I wish protect, throw off a few moonblast, and basically I had him down to like 20%, and he's used leftovers recovery to get back to full, nearly back to full, and now he's gotten another flinch there, forces me to protect and then throw off more wishes. Just gonna protect. He goes for the Iron Head again. No flinch, thankfully. And you can just wish up again. Can click protect here. Catch your wish back. He bulks up again, basically trying to waste PP here at this point. He doesn't have a counterplay, and I also don't have a counterplay. I just have to keep wishing up. Wish, protect, wish, protect, wish, protect. He just can't put a dent in me, really. Well, he does. It's just I'm always wishing back up and getting my health back. So he bulks up, he earthquakes, basically running him out of PP, running ourselves out of PP too. We only have a few more wish and protects here. He finally switches out to his scissor here, but I'm able to catch a wish right after I throw off this flamethrower. So I knock out the scissor there, and we're basically back to square one, except for the fact that he could bring in something like Mudsdale or Mimikyu now to get some big damage out. But I'm just gonna go out into my Charizard here. I don't want this thing being too problematic here. I'm gonna throw off a Toxic. It was my best play. I could have roosted, or I could have clicked an attack, but it would have given him a way to, had I clicked roost there and he just knocked me out, or had I attacked and gave him a boost in defense, he would have been able to avoid being knocked out by my Decidueye. But he does knock me out, and I'm able to go into my Decidueye and force out the Mudsdale. And now the Mudsdale is poisoned, which is really good for Clefable, since I am so weak at this point. And I'm running out of wishes and protects. So I have to get all these wishes and all these protects right. So my first attack here is to Moonblast and see what kind of set is he. And he goes for the Will-O-Wisp as I dodge. It doesn't really matter that I dodged. I would have taken, what, one more round of 6%. Which would have made no difference in the end game. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, his disguise is broken. His Shadow Sneak, it seems to be Shadow Sneak is his only move to hit us with. I don't know what his moveset is, but he only reveals Shadow Sneak to me. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I've got this. All I've got to do is be able to knock this thing out on the following turn. And then I have to be able to protect, Moonblast, and it should be game, really. So we throw off a Moonblast. Maybe the better play was to click protect on the first turn to guarantee that he was in range of Toxic at the end. But I can just click protect on this turn, and he should be in range of Moonblast. And bar him outspeeding me on this final turn here, we should be able to knock him out here. And the Will-O-Wisp miss. Obviously, it's showing that I'm at 20%. I would have been at 14% at this turn, and then it would have ended the game here. So we're going to be able to pick up a 1-0 victory. Clefable putting the team on its back and surviving basically every hit thrown at it. I think I finished the game with 0 wishes and 1 or 2 protects left. It's just completely insane. But that's going to be a good game to that dude. Good luck during the rest of the tour, my dude. And we're going to be moving on to 1-0, going into games 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, let me know what you thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.